So I'd like to first start off this with thank you, Emma, for guiding us through all of this. Now, I know maybe Emma was not the best MC here, whatever, but as my topic has said, right up there, how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So let's give Emma a round of applause, shall we? Thank you. Okay, let's return to some of the main points here. Problems. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear this word? Perhaps for most of us, it was a recent struggle that we have just dealt with. Maybe it was a heated argument. Maybe it was an upcoming essay or project. Or perhaps, for most of us right now, getting something to eat. For me, though, it was preparing for this talk. About 3 months ago, while I was brainstorming for topics on this day, I looked back to the events that have happened over the course of my life and how they have made me the man that I am right now. That's when it hits me. In our everyday life, problems have become a key part, not just in how we interact with life, but also how we develop and improve our society well-being as well. Unfortunately, though, most of us struggles to navigate through a problem, whether it is out of fear or maybe just, well, you don't want to do it at all. We, as human beings, has always struggled time and again in finding the correct way to navigate through problems. Now, I have some good news for you, though. Over a decade of observing both global and personal problems, I have realized that there is a process in going through problems. A bit complicated, I will admit, but if you would eventually realize what I'm about to say, perhaps this would help your life in some ways than not. But in order to do that, I would like to bring out a couple of my friends out here for a moment. They're a bit small, so yeah. Quick question. Everybody know what this is? Yes? All right. Deck cards. Now, more importantly, the 4 aces, the cards. Quick question here. Who here has played any type of card game? Could be Vietnamese poker, oh wow. Oh, wow. Looks like we have a lot of gamblers. Apologies, but sometimes in playing cards, raising the stakes a bit makes it a bit more fun. Now, we're not here to talk about, well, cards. Like I've said, we're here to talk about problems. So let's get into it, shall we? The first card, the Ace of Spades. Now, for most of us, the Ace of Spades correlates to themes such as death, bad fortune, maybe evil at times. In fact, poker players held a superstition against this particular card because this was one of the 4 cards that Wild Bill Hickok was holding when he was shot dead. Now, why am I talking about all these stories? Let's go back for a bit. A common trait that I found in all these themes is that to a certain level, they're uncomfortable to talk about, right? Does anybody want to talk about death or perhaps evil that much? Maybe not for the people in the audience today. But at the basic of them all, they're all uncomfortable. And that, my friends, is the exact nature of problems. In problems, we are put into circumstances where we have to think of a solution to go through that problem. But in order to do that, we have to go through a type of excruciating mental pain. At times, we even want to give up. And this is when our emotions get the better of us. Instead of going on and on about how the problem can be solved, we try to run away from it. It's simple. It's easy. And importantly, why not? We don't want to be in positions that make us feel uncomfortable because, first of all, why? Second of all, we could just do it, right? But in time, you'll notice that that itsy tiny problem that you were talking about the other day has turned into a 2-ton whale that you are carrying on your shoulders right now. And that is the first stage of my process, acceptance. By your choosing to understand and accepting the situation as it is, we choose to accept the circumstances that we're in, that we're not going to get away from this anyway, and that we're going to have to face it on one way or another. Take this talk, for example. For months, I've been preparing for this talk, and now this is what I am supposed to do, right? But for the last 40 minutes, I have been panicking. Seriously, I'm a perfectionist, so my job is to panic about everything that will be going on. And right now, and I mean right now, I can choose to run out of that door right there and don't do this talk anymore. But I choose to accept the fact that I'm going to stand here. I'm going to do my best to give a presentation about how 4 cards could change how you view the world, and perhaps giving a couple of advices along the way. Acceptance, the Ace of Spades. Now, on to the second card, the Ace of Clubs. Now, at basic, we can see that there is a 3-leaf club on this card already. Now, for some people who may have studied a bit more about Irish history, perhaps you're familiar with the myth that having a 4-leaf clover could lead you to a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And I mean, why not? But eventually you'll realize something. Why am I getting this card? I mean, yes, it is good that we're having luck in our life and we're getting to do things we'd love to, but sometimes we have to ask, why are we getting lucky out of a certain? And this comes to the second stage of my process, awareness. When you accepted the problems already, you begin to think of solutions. But in thinking of solutions, you also begin to doubt, why are you being in this situation in the first place? And perhaps what you could have done in the past to change it. This is good, though. This is good. We could look back on what we have done, become a better person in the future, and at the moment, try to solve the problem that we are going through. We're all humans at best. We all think of new solutions and ways. That's how it is. We ask, and we become better from it. On to the third card, the Ace of Diamonds. Now, please raise your hand if you have ever wanted one of these 3 things: money, wealth, power. Please raise your hands. Not out of my imagination. I mean, it's true. Every one of us wants all of these because, well, we just like it at the basic minimum level. But when it comes to diamonds in particular, this is where the third part of my process takes place, action. For the last 2 parts, we have been thinking. We have accepted the fact that we are in this situation. We think of new solutions already and how we're here. But now is the harder part of doing it. Hope is the fuel that keeps us alive, but it is action that will take us all the way to the end of the journey. Now, I'll say this. As a perfectionist, I myself have procrastinated so many times in projects and essays because I think that I will always do it at the end of the day, no matter what the circumstances will be. Turns out, 80% of the time, it took me 2 weeks and a half later and perhaps a couple of absences to finalize the project. Not the best way to use the time. But that's where my fear kicks in. Because as a perfectionist, I'm always fearing that, oh, is this good enough? Should I be going this far? It's self-doubt, it's fear. That is what perhaps most of us feels like when we're tackling a problem. There will always be some sort of challenge. But taking action is the first step to becoming a leader that will solve problems. Now, how do you take that action? You might be wondering. Perhaps a leap of faith. We don't know whether our action will be the greatest we've done or perhaps the worst we did. But sometimes it takes a bit of faith and hope to believe that what we're doing is truly the correct way. And then on to the final cards. The Ace of Hearts. Now, for the Ace of Hearts, we associate this card mostly with love, caring, respect, kindness, which is a key theme here at our school as well. For me, though, I connected to alone. After you have figured out what you want to do, what you think is the best choice, you begin to notice that not everyone will be there for you. And that if you choose what you want to do, and if you're truly passionate on what you want to do, then you, my friend, will have to be alone from the beginning to the end. Yes, there will be friends helping you, and that is good, because why not? Having help will be good. But sometimes, not everyone will always be there for you, and there's always the possibility that there's you and only you who will be there every step of the way. Now, let's make this a bit more interesting. Let's imagine, for example, you have one of these 4 aces. If I were a dealer and I were to give you a 10, Jack, Queen, King, and a 2, then with this single ace, you would have won the best pot you can in history. But having one of these traits alone can only help you so far. Sometimes it takes all 4 aces to become what you can do. I want to refer to a quote from a man who has changed my life deeply. Sapere aude, for those who dare to lead. In Latin, this phrase means dare to know. Dare to know for those who dare to lead. Now, as humans, problems have been a key part of our lives for centuries. We've dealt with it time and again already, but sometimes, like I've said, we don't want to know more problems. We want to be at the stage where we are right now. But to become leaders, to become those who will, inspire others, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and know things that others won't dare to know. And so, my process with the 4 aces concludes. Let's go over a bit, shall we? The Ace of Spades. Acceptance. Know what your limitations are. Know what the situation's limitations and what the problem is. The Ace of Clubs. Be aware of what is going on around you. But know that not everyone out there is going to hurt you. The Ace of Diamonds. Like I've said, hope is the faith that keeps us alive. But action is the plane that will take us all the way. And then there's Hearts. Alone. We will have to be alone for a while in order to realize what we're doing. And from that, my friends, perhaps that is the process of how we deal with life. Thank you.